Hello and welcome back to another installment of Fodder, where today I jump back into the content creators tournament, and today I'm going up against Frosty Cones. If you haven't followed Frosty in a while back, I think around Thanksgiving, I kind of did a spotlight on some of the YouTubers for Pokemon Duel that I enjoy their content, and Frosty was one of those. And I don't know if a lot of you had heard of his channel, because I don't even know how I came across his channel, but the dude is like, he's the opposite of me. If I always keep my cool, at least on videos, I keep my cool, and you know, there's no F-bombs being dropped, and the language is very PG, if not even G rated. Frosty is totally different. When the guy gets a bad roll, he lets you know that he just got a bad roll, and it's pretty funny, and his facial expressions are hilarious. You know, if something happens that's just completely unexpected, you will know based on his face. He just upgraded his channel. I think he's got a green screen now, does high quality work. Really enjoy watching Frosty Cones. And when he said he was going to join in the tournament, I was super excited, because I think he adds a nice dimension to the tournament. And on top of that, he's a good player. I think we played last night from when I'm recording this, and I think he's between 34 and 3,500. So definitely a solid player, on top of creating great content. I highly recommend, if you are following this tournament, and if you haven't been following the tournament, definitely check it out. There's numerous, I think there were 21 or 22 different content creators who are getting together doing a double elimination tournament. And one thing that I would highly recommend is, after you watch my video, and I will put links in the description, and then there'll be a link here as well on the video, but go check out his channel, watch some of his videos, but watch the video when he uploads it of our game, because it is really cool and a really unique perspective that you're going to get my side of the game and what I'm thinking and what I'm trying to do. And that's cool, but that's only one side of the story. And then you can rewatch the same games and you can see what he was thinking I was trying to do. And you can see how what he was trying to do compares to what I thought he was trying to do. And it's really nice to see the full picture. I think it adds a dimension to this game that is really, it's never seen unless you're watching two content creators play each other, and then you watch both sides of the video. He does great work. Happy to have him in this tournament. They were good games, and they were pretty exciting games. And before I roll back that video, today is the launch. And if you will remember, before, when they were talking about 6.0, I said the 12th, and then it came out on the 2nd. But that doesn't mean that the 2nd anniversary went unnoticed. When you log into your game, if you haven't already, you are going to get 222 Carmonite, 222 for the 2nd year, and 412,000 ingots for 4/12, which is April 12th. Very nice, very welcome surprise. Additionally, the Orbital Hall is now active, as we thought. It's going to be a grass ice banner. I did a live stream where we did the decks that you would think, grass type decks. We did those, and there were some technical difficulties early in the stream. So if you get to that, if you want to go back and watch the deck crafting and going over things, we reach a point, I think in the first Orbital Hall match that I play, where my Wi-Fi cuts out. Kind of skip over that because we get the stream back. And then there are some really unique and outside the box decks that we put together. And I kind of go over a lot of the different figures I think you can expect to see in the gym, and then the counterplays around them, and why, for example, I don't really think Santler is a great play in the gym, even though grass types can't knock it out. But I go into that. So definitely check that out. And that's that. The gym will start tomorrow. I will have full coverage for you guys. You know this. That's all I'm going to do for leading up into these games. I hope you enjoy them. I had a great time playing. And here we go. All right, so Frosty's running a grass deck, and he's got several of the new figures. I have actually changed up my deck from when I played Rico. I'm running a hybrid sleep deck, but I guess we'll just call it a sleep deck for lack of a better term. And Frosty is going to go first. He's got the Cacturn, the Cacnea, the Grovyle. What I'm doing here is I'm looking for where are my good matchups for like confusion, really. I'm looking for Sableye. Where do I have favorable matchups as far as when the figure gets confused? Where's that my advantage? So that's really what I'm looking for there. He's going to open up because he has no runner with Cacturn, and I'm sort of familiar with Cacturn, but what I was mainly checking on is at level 5, I knew that it would have no miss. So I wanted to see if it being confused was good. I decided I had a small enough gold that I could go ahead and throw Jigglypuff out there. He opens up and brings out his Formantis. I go ahead and just play a little defensive, and I'm going to put my Morlul on the goal. Like it's going to be my goalie for this game. And since he went defensive, I decided just to go ahead and follow suit. Cacnea, I don't really have anything I like against Cacnea. There's a ton of white there, so I decided to put a heavy purple attacker. Plus, it's going to have to roll, Cacnea is going to have to roll a lot more pin missiles than I'm going to have to spend my white attack. Same thing here, Tangela. He absolutely went with the multiple spinners, and that can be good, but it can be bad as well, because if you spin a ton, you're probably going to win. But if you get a 1 and done or a 2 and done, your attacks aren't all that strong. So now he brings his Lurantis out on the board, and all of his Grassmons are getting +2. Plus he's getting an additional +2 attack damage for my Morlul. There's no reason for me to press forward here. I just go ahead and throw Poliwag back. For no reason other than I didn't have a play that I liked better. I moved up Jiggly here because I didn't want Grovyle using its ability to pass through Cacturn and attacking me, because that was a good matchup for him. So what I did is I closed off that avenue. He presses forward. I match up against his Grovyle with Sableye because I like that matchup. He retreats a little bit, and I just go ahead and follow suit. And so now all that I'm doing here is I'm not letting him press forward. I'm not attacking him, but I'm not letting him dictate the flow of the game. Right now, I am very much dictating where he moves. And so, again, he keeps retreating, and I keep pressuring in. He's going to attack. He's going to lose the purple slice on his wheel. It doesn't really matter because, as I said, when you get these spinning wheels, you could roll 1 or 2, or you could roll 12 and hit 169 damage. And Tangela is going to give me weight 11. So I can't even max revive and bring out my figure because it just really wouldn't do any good. I still have all this weight. I go ahead and cover up my goal because I'm going to need to do that eventually. And then I press forward with my Malamar. He's going to come down, and I'm going to go ahead and block this off. I like my positioning too much that I don't want to give up any ground, and I don't fear Tangela knocking out Morlul. In fact, I really don't even think he's going to try to attack because the risk of getting put to sleep is too good. And that's why I like Morlul, especially in this tournament format, is you can't just attack. So I retreat here. I don't have any other better plays. And I think I can't remember, but I want to say that I was trying to set something up. But I don't remember off the top of my head what it was I was trying to set up. I wanted to put my little Jigglypuff up there on his entry point. But he attacks and gets a nice 118 roll. He's going to respin. Fortunately for me, does not land the gold. He gets put to sleep, and now that is going to allow me to press forward. And now he's going to have to do something with Grovyle if he doesn't want his Grovyle to get surrounded. He's going to move it up 1, which was a really nice play. I'm going to move my Sableye up to front up against him. And now he's going to be forced to do something. He can either attack with Valence. I can't even think of the name of it for all of a sudden. Anyways, his goalie. He could have gone over and attacked. He decided not to. I got the favorable roll there, and I get the easy surround. He moves over and wakes up his Cacturn, but that's going to free me up to take over his entry point. And at this point, like, I've completely suffocated him in. Oh, I think I know why. Earlier, so I'm going to get knocked out here, but earlier, the reason why I moved my Sableye back is because I wanted to do something with my Jigglypuff. I wanted to hurdle jump with Jigglypuff, but I wasn't sure about Cacturn. I knew it could move multiple spaces if there was no one in front of it, and I didn't know if it could only move 2 or 3 spaces, so I wanted to make sure. I get the nice Confuse, which is perfect, exactly what I want on Cacturn, since he has that huge white. Basically, that entire white wheel just became a miss. Happy with that, and everything's going well so far. Tangela, I don't fear at all at this point. Confused Cacturn, I don't really fear. Lurantis it's an issue for sure because it is very powerful. And what do I do here? So I go for the sleep. I'm gonna try to sleep Tangela in a bad spot. Now, because he rolled 76, I decided not to risk it. I had the dodge. It was a winning roll for me. I could have tried to re-roll and get the sleep, which is what I wanted to do, is trap him back on my side of the board, but it wasn't worth the risk. He moves his Cacturn up 2 spaces, and I'm gonna go ahead and play a little bit of defense here. I'm not super worried about Cacturn, but at the same time, I don't wanna leave it so then I have to attack Tangela because Cacturn is sitting next to my Morlul. So I go ahead and back up. He takes over my other entry point, and he actually has the advantage here. He has a 5-on-4 advantage. I'm going to most likely, I take a little bit of a risk here, I'm not gonna lie. So I go with Bright Powder, and that's not good. But I'm gonna make him re-roll, and I'm hoping he lands white, which he does. It moves over into the 1 miss that he has, and that worked out perfectly. The Confuse, like, that's exactly how I drew it up. That's what I wanted to happen. He's gonna take his Cacnea. I think if he could have packed an X speed, I think an X speed, it wouldn't have helped there, but I would have been a lot more concerned. I take my X speed because both of my white attacks are going to turn to gold and attack into him. I feel pretty confident there. The X speed was more just like a just in case, and that's actually what ended up happening. I really wanted to hit Lullaby. What I was trying to do is put him to sleep on the corner. Now, even if he knocks out my Malamar, which he doesn't, but I was going to be able to replace it with Poliwag. So now I can press forward with Poliwag, but I don't actually. I take a second here to think about it. I'm like, well, he can't reach me. So I hop over, set up this round because I just don't think, it's not Lurantis, Formantis. Oh, I can't think of the name. Formantis would have to roll Grass Knot into me double spinning white. Even if I get knocked out, I can still take over the entry point on the next turn. And his figure's still asleep, so then he's going to have to wake it up, and I will be bringing a 3 MP Poplio off of my bench at that point. So this seemed like a no risk, high reward move. I don't know what he's thinking here other than this sucks, because if I were him, I wouldn't want to be in that situation. He rolls dodge. It doesn't matter. I didn't roll my white anyways, and that creates the easy victory this round. Honestly, I got so many good rolls in this game that, like, I don't know that I really played strategically all that great. And like I've said before, when you win every roll, the game is really easy. So we take the first win. It is the best of 3 though, and I have a feeling he's going to change his deck. So I go in and then I'm going to change my deck because I'm anticipating him changing his. Just as I suspected, he changed his deck, and I'm worried. I went in and changed my deck. The thought behind my deck here is Drapion, Kabuto, and Deoxys attack form can all make my opponent respin. I actually thought he was going to go back to the steel deck that he ran in round 1, and I wanted to be able to spin them out of different moves. He comes out with this like Phantom Ghost deck. He's got the Zoroark, and I'm like, crud. I don't really like my matchups that much here. My best matchup is going to be my Poplio into Sableye, but he's got a curse on Banette. He's got a curse on Oricorio. Zoroark is going to be able to swap in and out. He's got tons of mobility. And I'm like, well, this isn't good. So what I do is I take 2 of my respin figures. So if my opponent lands an attack that is more than like 10 damage or something like that, I can respin them. And so I front up against both his curse marker figures, the respins. He brings out Sableye, I match up my Sableye to his, and then he completes the Shuppet wall. I go ahead and just try to put on some pressure. I didn't remember exactly what Harden did, so I wanted to look there. I have to have an attack of 100 or more, and the only figure I have on the board that can do that is Deoxys attack form. So I put out Deoxys. I really don't want it to be a goalie, but I want it on the same side of the board as, I believe it's Larry on there. Totally different setup this time. Last game, I was able to dictate the matchups, and this time so far, not at all. And he has so much mobility on his deck. I don't want to give him my entry point, so I think I just go ahead and back up. Maybe not. I back up with, I don't know why I backed up with Sableye. I didn't back up with Poliwag because I knew I could just surround him. And now I look to see he does have Swap Spot, and I didn't want to get caught in a bad situation where he does Swap Spot and then I'm going to lose my Poliwag. So I back up here and just I'm defensive because I really don't know exactly. I don't know how to attack this deck. It is, at the end of the day, I don't know. I don't know where a good matchup is. He brings Sableye down, attacks my Drapion. It's the Confuse, so now my Drapion has 2 rather large missed sections. I take Bright Powder. I'm pretty sure I take Bright Powder and put it on my Poplio here because I need to remove the threat of Sableye. I'm in a lot of danger of having both my entry points consumed by my opponent here. I think he made the mistake of attacking my Drapion. He didn't need to, because then that allowed me to freely attack into his Sableye and not worry about Zoroark. I did the Bright Powder because there's so much purple that's turning to miss that I definitely want him to miss. I do get the fortunate knockout there. Sleep would have been fine too. The only thing I didn't want to roll there was dodge or miss. And he triggers Phantom Energy. I'm thinking he's holding Zoroark back. Just to keep it on the bench. He triggers Phantom Energy because there were no other really good plays for him to make. But at the same time, he didn't really need to make any plays. So I take Popplio around the corner because, quite honestly, I just don't have another good move. He cuts it off with Oricorio, so I immediately fill up that vacancy with Drapion. And now I'm kind of threatening his goal. I can't get there in one turn, but I've put him on a clock, and the clock is 2. He decides to hop back over and attack with his Oricorio. I land my miss, which actually jumps into Venom Whip. And I go ahead and I think I poisoned Shuppet here. Nope. So I poisoned his Oricorio, and then I'm going to take over the entry point. So now he has to move either Shuppet or his Oricorio back over to the goal to protect it. And I'm thinking, okay, if he does this or this, I have Hurdle Jump, and he brings Zoroark out. And let me just say, when he did that, I was like, whoa. But we've all been there. I will tell you right now, there were 4 times in the carnival that we just had the carnival cruise where I let the AI's Coco just walk to my goal in the same type scenario where I would bring out like my Rowlet to block it off. And then that happens. Anyway, so I do take the victory, 2 games to none. It was just a mental gaffe. And quite honestly, I'm glad that he did that because I was in a pretty good position, but I still didn't know how I was going to take out his figures. And that deck that he had was creating a lot of matchup problems for me, especially with the deck that I had, but I move on. I just want to say thank you again to Frosty for participating in the tournament. He's not out of the tournament. Definitely go check out his channel to watch as he moves on in the other side of the bracket. I'm not sure who he plays yet, and I don't even know who I play yet. But that's going to do it for me for today. Let me know in the comments below. Have you ever accidentally just left your goal open like that? And if you say no, I know you're lying because everybody has. That's all I've got for today. So until next time.